My name is Naomi Doerner, and I'm in the cohort 4 for the Robert Johnson Foundation Culture Policy Leaders. And I'm submitting my video for the strategic initiative idea or visioning. And the questions I'm going to focus on, the first one is the world that I see or want to see in 20 years out in the future, and how it'll be different. So I'm actually here in Oakland, where I live, I recently moved here, and I'm actually sitting right in front of this estuary where all these birds live. I'm wearing a mask because we're in the middle of a pandemic, as we all are experiencing, and the air quality here has been horrible. The last few days have been a bit better. The wildfires continue to rage out here in the west. So this is one of the first days I could be outside, and I guess the world that I want to live in 20 years is a world in which we have preserved both places for people and nature, and these kinds of parks, these kinds of spaces are accessible and available for everyone. The air quality is clean and clear, and we have policies in place that are keeping corporations from polluting our air. We have better climate change. We have climate change policy and practices that are community driven, that we're following the lead of communities of color who have long been the stewards of land. And I think structurally the kinds of changes, the things that I think will be possible and that are going to be necessary to create healthy places, healthy communities, it's going to really require us shifting our resourcing. I work in consulting, and one of the things I'm seeing as people are really turning their attention and more intentionally now in the midst of a crisis, multiple crises, focusing on racial equity and equity, they are looking to make change, but there's not a lot of difference in how they're doing the work, and who they're funding and how they're funding. And so I think agencies and cities and federal government are really going to have to take a serious look at the percentage of resources that they're actually putting into the hands of communities of color, and trusting communities of color to provide and recommend strategies that are in fact viable and that are in fact meant to be tailored for these communities, our communities. So I think structurally, I see a wholesale change in our process for working in communities, and funding in a very different way, and having funding come from different places, different communities, and prioritize. So I think that's one thing, and the role that I hope to play, as I've been thinking a lot about the work I'm doing, is how do I, within institutions or as a support outside of the institution, sometimes that's more effective as an advisor, providing sort of strategic advisement, and supporting systems change, policy development, and really working with leaders and new leadership to change our processes. So that's my video. I know it's really wonky, but I think this year has really shown us, so many of us already knew these things, but it's all these compounding crises. It makes me realize how urgent, I mean, it's always been, but what my role could be and what I'd like it to be and how I'd like to work with systems, but also communities, and be a bridge between these two key players in creating a world that not only I, but generations to come can enjoy and breathe in, and not fear for their lives because of the color of their skin, and not be subjected to higher risks of disease and infection of viruses. Yeah. I hope it's not too much.